Hello there, everyone but Sam, because he's a traitor and a bastard. Joking. He wanted to get some drink. Hello. We're back with D&D. I'll do a quick recap because we're in the middle of a battle. So, previously, you guys are obviously in the north trying to find Daviat. You found Daviat in the end after you found some big crystals with 10th of the 9 on sort of on them. And some giants found you. You ended up following the giants back to their home, wherein they had Daviak. But to free Daviak, you had to go up and find out what was going on with their Dreamwalker, this mystical stone giant that lived up on the mountain. You went up there, sorted that stuff out. You watched as the Chief Qatar essentially battled in something called the Ordering against a frost giant. And afterwards, he mentioned something about Ragnarok, something about this terrifying end of days, end of the gods type event upon this slate, which had something that looked like a very bestial maw, like bestial mouth, teeth. You came down from the mountain and decided your next best move would probably be to find Oreson, because, as Daviak told you, there is this spirit looking for something, or this fiendish thing, he said, that killed all the orcs near the crystals that you saw. Was looking for something or someone called Frazas Gore, who Daviak believes is a dragon that lives here, and he wants something from the dragon's hoard, potentially. So he's basically said, if you guys go there, you find it, you kill it, everyone's happy. Or maybe you can get there first and stop it from, getting whatever it wants or needs, and come up with a plan from there. Last session you were tracking Oreson, and you eventually found some of his tracks and some of his ways after dealing with a bit of an avalanche, and you found this large yeti cave. Nevado stealthed in, scouting out the area, and you found like over a dozen of these large, almost like gorilla-like yetis with these huge maws on their face, this thick white fur, this darkish purple thick skin, these large claws on their hands as well. And they were all sleeping in this big cave. And after a bit of recon, you decided, well, there's no two ways about it. Let's just go in and do what we do best. And let me tell you, this place, if you can imagine, it looks like a goddamn bloodbath. You imagine Giri obviously went large and was just hacking through one after the other of these things. There was lightning bolts shot out. There was fireballs thrown. There's just been everything.
There were no maelstroms.
No maelstroms. No maelstroms, sadly.
I don't know why.
Something about performance issues.
There was cloaks summoned and Steelwind strikes made, splattering blood all over this place. This place is literally glistening in this purplish blood, as are all of you, just absolutely fucking covered in this stuff. Daviak's even been getting involved, saving Giri, as she was, no better way of putting it, mounted by one of these large yetis. Now, as we pick things up...
What happens on a Friday, isn't it?
What happens in the Yeti Cave stays in the Yeti Cave. Picking things back up, obviously, we have Balzanor at the top of the round. We have Mittens, who is a giant ape. We have Nevado, who is a T-Rex. One of these Yetis is climbing on top of the T-Rex, just on top of its back. Giri is stood there underneath this absolutely huge Yeti, this massive thing, which has clearly shown that it deals quite hefty strikes with its claws. Also, his Mittens' cloak is out flapping away. Daviak is looking like he wants to get involved. He's got his wings out. He's got a sword, singing. And one of these things is also fighting against Balzanor, who sort of made a bit of a run for it down here. And is dueling with one of these things of his own. So, Balzanor, what's the plan, my man? At all?
I've got my flaming blade alight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to attack with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good start.
Good start. That obviously hits, yep.
just to show spell description. That's not quite what I wanted.
Rickety roll the damage.
I don't actually know how to. 'Cause I can't do it on there.
Can you not?
I do have it. I do have that.
What's going on?
And then just click the flame blade,
rolling
unless
that
it doesn't. Okay, if that doesn't work, just roll 3d6. It's 3d6 fire damage.
I'll
Just
do it.
roll. Yeah. That's easier for everybody. Oh, there we go. Nicely done. All right, yeah, this searing flame scorches over this thing, dealing a hefty 13 damage, and it sort of like screeches and screams out in pain, almost like a sort of like a large ape would. Not quite a gorilla's roar, like a sort of ape screech or roar kind of thing, a bit higher pitched. Anything else you would like to do? Bonus actions?
I'm then
magic
going
options?
to use my hammering horns.
Yes.
Is that.
Immediately after you hit a creature with a melee attack as part of the attack action, the turn, you can use a bonus action to attempt to shove that target with your horns. The target must be within 5 feet of you more. One succeeds in a strength saving throw 10 feet away from you. Awesome. As you're shoving a creature, you can also push it try and push it prone, technically.
Definitely would be ideal.
Alrighty. So it needs to make a strength save, which is 8 plus proficiency bonus plus strength. Your strength is 4. 8 plus 4 plus 4. I can do maths. That's DC 16. Alrighty. Let's do some maths for these guys. So strength saving throw. Oh, fucking hell. I think. Does it have... No, it doesn't have 5 strength like I thought. So, it fails. And it falls over. As you just hammer it with your horns and just straight in... just throw it straight to the ground. No. Sadly, no, I don't believe so. But it is now prone. So it'll have to use some of its movement to get back up. But there we go. Anything else? Turn, any movement, anything?
No. Because
Cool.
there's not really much point in me going anywhere else. So, no.
Fair enough. Nevado. There's an ape on your back.
Oui.
And a bigger one in front of you. I would say to attack the one on your back, because you are a T-Rex, and they're very small arms, and you would have to like bite around, I'd say you'd roll with disadvantage. However, as proved last week, these things don't have the highest AC because they're more bestial and animalistic, and they don't really care for their life very much. It seems, obviously have no real training in terms of like fighting or anything. They just sort of go for it. So, what are you going to do?
Well, can I start off with a tail attack on the big guy?
On big guy, yeah.
Spin around and pop him.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just... Yeah. So tail attack is plus 10 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
3d8 plus 7 damage.
Mm-hmm. Roll a d20, add 10. Yeah, hits, no problems.
Cool.
Oh shit.
3d8. Plus 7.
Plus 7, 24.
Nice!
Nice as you just spin around, this thing on top of you spin around and your tail just whoosh straight over its face, and it has to it stumbles back a little bit, it has to hold itself together and hold itself steady.
And then I'll try and attack the one on my back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is with, alright, so 5, what's the thing to hit?
Plus 10 again.
Plus 10 again, both of those would hit anyway.
Got it, success.
Riggedy roll the damage, though I don't see a lot of point, but do it anyway for shits and giggles.
Take that 4d12 damage.
Plus, I'm assuming 7.
Plus 7.
I'm not going to lie, Luke, it had 2 HP left. So I'm sort of imagining it as you like spin around, and whack this thing over the face with your tail, and then this one on top of you is by the momentum shoved to one side. You manage to then flick yourself around, grab it by the arm, just within its entire arm within your mouth, and with that you just slam it, pull it to the ground, 1 foot on its like rib cage, its arm still in your mouth, and just
what the fuck is going on?
Rip. Its entire arm comes off, and just with a big mighty chomp, it goes down like a nice Sunday dinner.
Because Nevado, there wasn't enough blood on the walls.
I was hungry.
Oh, okay.
And that one goes bye-bye. Anything else on your turn?
No.
Cool. Monster's turn. It's not liking the situation very much, not gonna lie. It's the big yeti's not having a good time. He's really just not having a good time. So I'm thinking he is he gonna do that thing now, or is he gonna do that thing later? I might not live till later, to be fair. Okay. So what he's gonna do is he's going to look towards Mittens and Nevado, and you see as it sort of like stands there, it begins to sort of like breathe very, very heavily, that you think is almost like turning into a roar, but as it's breathing you can see these wisps of like frost just emanate from its mouth. It just and as it screams, this just torrent of frost bellows from its mouth, and I'm going to need both of you, Mittens and Nevado, to make Constitution saving throws. You're both polymorphed, so these are as your things. Oh dear.
That's with +4, so 13.
13. Alright, well, I don't have that many dice to roll for this attack. So, you both take 36 points of cold damage. That was a horrible roll. Fucking hell.
Horrible good or horrible bad?
Horrible as in it rolled very low.
Oh.
Very, very low. But you both take 36 points of cold damage. Obviously the DC is 18? No? Yeah, 18. And so I think, you both need to roll to keep your forms. So Nevado, can you roll me another con save? Mittens, you're alright. I'm assuming a giant ape has more than +1 at least Constitution, yeah. Nevado, you have +4 con as a T-Rex. So sadly, you return
What's
the babby size.
Is it over 10? It's
over 10 or half the damage taken, whichever one's higher. And the damage you took was 36. Half that, 18. Sadly, as you just get blasted with this torrent of ice, you just can't quite take it anymore, and you shift back down to your much smaller size. Very, very sadly, the reign of the T-Rex was over quick. And Balzanor, this one's going to take an attack against you, methinks, because it's got nothing else to do. Well, it's going to get up 15 feet, and then that's a 12 to hit. Assuming not. And a 17 to hit. Ease. Ouch. Okay, so that is 9 slashing damage. As one of these attacks, you manage to just block off your sort of arm, but then the other one just comes from underneath and just whook up the side of your face.
Yeah, I'm a cool little one-to-one with this guy over here.
I'm starting to realise how bad I am at close range.
The sorcerer is not good at melee.
What is this nonsense? You do have meta magic options, obviously, to make things bonus actions and what have you. Remember, if you have stuff like that. But next up, it is the Davyak, the one and only, who I believe is going to see this large thing and just going to shoot it twice with some arrows. That one definitely hits. And it also definitely hits.
Like, yes, whatever.
He's like, yeah, let's fucking... I've killed a dragon, motherfucker, let's just go. He didn't kill it, but, you know, he helped. So that is...
What's the thing? He's having issues like motivating himself to be here and take part. It's just not really my level. Fine, I'll fire an arrow or two.
Yeah,
not
nice.
really my thing, though.
So you see...
Okay?
Yeah, no melee, no melee.
You can't ask me to try.
So you see Davyak just pulls out these two arrows, almost notches them exactly the same time, and they're both just, the ends begin to glow with this like radiantish energy. Just sook, and both of them just slam exactly the same point straight on its chest, and it does sort of like as it like stumbles back a little bit, but manages just to keep itself on its feet. And he's going to move. Are any of you looking particularly hurt? Really badly, painfully hurt. 5, 10,
well,
15,
maybe not in comparison to other people, but
20, and he's going to give you.
You can see me, so to be honest.
He's going to give you. How badly are you hurt?
I'm on 55 of 124.
Okay, he's going to give you 15 hit points.
Yay!
There you go. 15 whole hit points.
Really close to Balzanor's max there.
And next up is Mittens, the giant ape, this huge apish creature, howling and screaming in this and roaring in this cave. What do you do?
I'm gonna grab the ankle of the now one-armed yeti, but it's probably also now frozen, so it's like a rock, and I'm gonna use it to beat the other yeti with.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Roll to hit with just, I mean, whatever you've got. You're a massive yeti, and it's a large thing. You're huge, so...
With my fist.
With your fist, yeah.
So, if can I have a +9, that would be 17.
Yeah, that hits.
If it's just strength, then that would be 14.
I'd say you're a giant ape. That's cool, I'll give you it. Basically, it wouldn't really make a bloody difference either way, whatever you use, so...
Okay.
Go for it. Roll the damage.
+6, that's 21. With the first attack.
Ouch.
And then the second one... it's 15 plus numbers. Oh wait, that's wrong. Oh no, sorry, it's 6 plus numbers. So 6 plus 9 would be 15. Would a 15 hit this one?
6 plus 9. 15 just hits, yeah.
Okay, and then +6 on that, so another 25.
Oh, fucking hell. Alright, yeah, as you just grab this huge thing and just slam up with its own, like, yeti kind up against his face, and then just swing right back down with this one leg. And you can just hear the crunch of... You're not quite sure whether it's the big yeti or the small yeti you're carrying, but there was definitely a crunch of something as it slams back down on its head. Anything else upon your turn?
I can
It's not
command
dead.
cloak, but I have to use a bonus action to do it. Can I do that bonus action while I'm ape? For context, an ape's intelligence is 7.
Yeah, I'm going to say no, because, yeah, you take on the forms of this thing, and right now you are just, I am ape, it is ape, I want to kill that ape.
Okay.
So I'd say, yeah, for the minute, unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Because also, yeah, you'd need to, like, you know, as a giant ape, you might not even remember. Like, you don't know how to do spells. How would you know that you've got this floating cloak behind you that you command? You might obviously regard it as like friendly, but a lot of that would probably become a little bit hazy. And Giri.
Do I get
Giri
flanking
Kubo.
with ape mittens if I go there?
Yes, you would.
Okay, we're gonna do 3 of the finest hits with advantage. I'm gonna take a -5 on all of these for a juicy little +10 damage.
Alrighty.
Here we go. 22. Glyndon. Glyndon's never hit a 27 on his melee in his life. I'll roll them and then roll the damage at the end. That's probably easiest. We'll go again. 20.
Yep.
And 23.
Yep.
I'm assuming they all hit. Perfect. Right. 13 gets a reroll the 1. That is 24 damage for the first one.
Yep.
11 gets a reroll the 1. That is 23 for the second one.
Alrighty, let me just do some quick maths. Yeah.
24,
And
47.
Reroll that 1. 4. That's 25 for the final attack.
25 for the final attack. Nicely done.
For the whole turn.
Very nicely done. As you just start cleaving into this thing, like it's not dead. It's a fucking big thing, and it is not dead. And as you start like cleaving into its ankle, it just turns at you and goes to attack you. But just as it like swings down for you, just like within its whole sort of like movement and getting knocked about the place, you just cleave off like 3 of its fingers, and then with the other attack, you just swipe off its thumb of like this one hand, which is now basically just like useless.
That's brutal.
It's holding on. It's not dead, but it's holding on.
Okay, and then as a bonus action, I will second wind, which is my fighter level plus a D10, I believe. Yeah, fighter level plus D10. Big boy plays. That's not awful. So that's 19 HP. Well,
19 HP. So you regain that. That's you done. Anything else?
That's bonus action, movement. Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah. Balzanor. Let's get this thing done. Let's do it.
Waiting what spells I can use, but
Oh yeah, spells.
I have all these spells today.
Yes, spells.
Thing is, I have a lot of spells that don't actually do a lot of damage. So
It's not all about damage, man.
Unless
I'm gonna
upcast them.
Well, yes, but then I'm. Okay. Sorry, just gonna do some reading.
Matt's just reading The Hobbit over here, it's fine.
He's looking for the small pile of gold. We're in a cave, why is it not here?
Right, I'm going to cast Aganza's Scorcher.
Alright.
But at level 4.
Been level 4. Alrighty.
Oh my god.
Tell me about
I'll
Aganza's
tell you about
Scorcher.
it. I'll tell you about it.
A line of roaring flame, 30 feet long and 5 feet wide, emanates from you in a direction you choose. Each creature in the line must make that creature takes 3d8 fire damage on a failed save. Fast, much successful one when you cast a spell and so on higher. Alright, so it needs to make a dex saving throw.
How did you pronounce that name?
I'm calling it Aganza's Scorcher. I don't really know.
I think it's Aganaz's.
There you go.
No, Agnaz's.
Agnaz's, yeah, that sounds better. Yeah.
That sounds like the D&D porn channel.
Agnazar's, that would be it, yeah.
Agnazes.
By the way, I rolled a 4, so it definitely
very nice.
failed.
Skadoosh.
Skadoosh. So that's... I think that's rolling it wrong, because I only rolled
Yeah.
2 for
I was
the
selecting it at
second
level
one.
4.
So roll 2d8 for the first one, which is meant to be 3d8.
Yeah, I was going to roll
Yeah,
2d8
it's
then.
rolled 3d8 for the first one, and then the higher level
Yeah.
cast is 2d8.
Okay, well I'll take the first one and then the 6 from the second one. So 13 plus 6, 19
Why?
higher damage. Because
That's right, isn't it?
yeah, 3d8.
He cast it up. He's the second
What
level spell. He
level?
cast it at 4th level.
Oh, right. I've been thinking it's level. Yeah, my bad. Oh, I thought it was a level 3 spell. Never mind. I was thinking I was a bit shit for a level 3 spell. Cool. 23 higher damagios.
Yeah.
Nicely done. As just this line just burns
So,
through it,
I
and
got
it,
you.
although it just manages to
Just-
just like evade it, there's now just this burn right across its chest, like right up its body. That's
Like a motorbike
sort of like,
ridden
I-
over it.
kind of, yeah. It's like gone
Black
straight like,
lines.
and like, you know, it's even burnt away like literally like a chunk of its shoulder. Like this is where a lot of the damage comes from. This shoulder's now like it's like hanging there. There's a difference over here. There's a lot more burn marks over this side, not really blood. A lot of the wounds are cauterized before they can bleed over this side. Anything else,
Preemptively creating
Balzanor?
water so we can wash everything.
Anything else?
Yeah,
Any burn
I'm then
sections,
gonna-
magic options.
Oh yeah, I'm then going to do the quicken spell. So use 2
Alrighty.
sorcery points, so I can basically use another spell as a
Uh-huh.
bonus action. And with
It has to be a
that,
cantrip because you can only do one spell
Yeah.
per turn. But yeah,
fine. I will firebolt it.
Firebolt. See, unfortunately, it is with disadvantage, as you're within 5 feet of the target, and it's a ranged
Did you not
attack.
push it? Did it not push it 5 feet away?
He chose to knock it prone.
Yeah.
Oh, you idiot! Idiota!
Can I not take a step back? Can Raycon's taking a step back? Because I didn't know that was a thing. But then that's attack of opportunity, isn't it?
Yes, it is an attack of opportunity. I'm gonna say no. Because
Fair
we've
enough.
been playing for a year.
Cold.
This character, yeah, but fair enough.
That's cold.
I apologise. So yeah, unfortunately your firebolt whizzes just past its head. It's looking pretty rough. It's looking very, very rough now. Unfortunately, however, your firebolt whizzed just past. Nevado, you're no longer big and T-Rexy, and you've got a weird taste in your mouth.
Just gagging
Oh,
with
it'd be
fur.
fairy, wouldn't it?
Yeti
Yeah.
does not taste good uncooked.
No. Just picking up bits of fur.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tricky squat behind a tree later.
It's fine. It's roughage, right? You know, bit of
It's
fibre.
certainly rough.
Oh, what are you doing?
I would like to cast Blight.
Blight. Okie dokie. What save does he need to make against Blight?
My man needs to make a nothing save.
A nothing save. You have to roll to hit. I see. That does hit.
So weird.
Wait.
That's the damage roll.
No, yeah, that's the damage roll.
Right,
So
Ah,
it's a
what?
save, I'm pretty
the
sure.
target needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, well, he makes a con save.
He rolled.
That's an unfortunately low roll for you, Luke.
That is low.
That is a very sad roll. He rolled a 25 for his con save. I'm very, very sorry.
Me
And only
too.
takes
Oh, boy.
13. 13 necrotic. So that is.
Woo!
As this wave of necrotic energy just emerges from your hand and sort of washes over it. It sort of just like pushes almost like the sort of necrotic wave of air back, and just roars right at you, just like now, like on like all fours kind of thing. Like when like a gorilla sort of like got its like 2 feet down. Although you can't quite tell if it's doing this because it's too like hurt and weak to stay on like its both feet, or whether it's preparing something. You're not quite sure. Is there anything else on your turn you would like to do?
Yeah, I would like to. Potentially, it doesn't say, but I'm assuming it's a. Well, I'm hoping it's a bonus action. I'd like to use my Staff of Entangling. I don't know.
Staff Entangling, like you have to cast Entanglement, and it allows you to cast Entanglement, and therefore that is an action to do. I am very, very sorry.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
What a persuasion, Luke.
Oh, yeah, alright.
With Nevado.
Well, in that case, nothing, Ben. Nothing is what I'd like to do.
Fair enough. In any case, or in which case, it is Big Boy's turn, and he is pissed. So, he is going to... He's got 2 claw attacks and his gaze. Who does he want to gaze? He wants to gaze... Nevado. Nevado, can you make for me a Constitution saving throw?
You're just not passing this, are you?
Get ready for this. Unreal boys. Yes! How's that fair?
Unfortunately, you take... Discounted. I'm fine.
6,
Clocked it.
7.
Only 6. 21 points of cold damage. And you are now paralyzed.
Oh,
You might do better now you're paralysed.
yeah.
At which point, it's going to grab you, much like your friend did with its friend,
Yeah.
right by the legs,
Yeah.
with its 10-foot reach,
Yeah.
and whack your friends with you.
Yeah. Let me just...
It's going to roll to hit against
I would
Giri.
say, would there be some kind of check involved? You're paralysed, so there's fuck all you can do about it.
Exactly. Fortunately, it misses Giri. So as it swings over Giri, you just sort of like duck underneath.
Nevado's just very stoic.
Fucking Nevado. And goes to hit.
Can he say anything? Or
He's paralyzed.
when he goes
can't-
overhead,
he
do I
can't
just
do
hear
and a 17 to hit you, Mittens, as Giant Ape.
Yes, that will hit me.
Alrighty, let's see what damage we do with
And I love
this.
love the application of the monkey see, monkey do.
13, 19, that is 24 points of damage
Okay, so...
on
It is
you,
hard.
Sir Thing. And to you, Nevado, as you are being used as a weapon, you take the damage as well.
What damage is that?
You take 24 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. Do you know what? This wouldn't have happened if you'd let me use Staff Entangle, which I put the description in the chat, by the way.
As an action, you can use as many charges the staff has remaining on your turn.
So I don't have to
Very
cast
good.
anything because it's an action.
No,
to use a charge.
but it is an action.
So it's not a spell though. So
No,
technically,
no,
we're both
it is
wrong.
not a spell. We were both wrong. Yes, because I changed it
Listen,
slightly
at this
from when we did the
point,
battle
I'm a
royale.
ragdoll. I've just got to score points so I can. All right.
Alrighty,
I'm still a giant ape.
you're fine. You are still a giant ape.
I hit you in the face. Is that not traumatizing enough? Thank you. Oh no, wait. Just traumatizing for me.
We go to Davyak, who's slightly had enough of this shit, and is going to make a couple of melee attacks against it.
I like the
roll the
idea that
damage.
Davyak's now like a level 20 paladin and he's just over dealing with us.
She's like, for fuck's sake. Come on. Okay. She watches Davyak still wings out, much like he did last time, just woof, with the wings up onto its head, and as he goes up, he slashes right up its chest, and then as he lands, he stabs it straight through like the back of the neck as it starts like coughing and spluttering. It's definitely on some of its last legs right now. It's like now like really, really low, and he's still on top of it as well, but he does not kill it. Mittens, it is your go.
Sweet. I'll punch it.
Oh yeah, and he's like there.
That's a 14. That's not gonna hit, is it?
14 just misses, I'm afraid.
I'm trying not
As
to
you
Daviak and or
as you swing with his friend, and it just.
Alright, that was the feint. Here comes the haymaker. Fuck!
So good, man. So good.
As you swing with this thing, and you're trying not to hit Daviak, so you go high and then try and instinctively go low. And as you swing with the momentum, the thing's leg breaks, and so it swings at a really awkward angle, and it just drops to the ground. And then as you try and lift it back up, it's now a little bit more floppy than when you first had it, so it doesn't quite swing the same. And therefore, it's easily dodged as well. Giri, for the love of God, end this nightmare.
What is it? What is it Thanos says? I don't know if it's the end of Age of Ultron. It's fine, I'll do it myself.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'll do it myself. I've still got advantage, I'm guessing, yeah?
Yep.
With a flank? Okay, right. Don't let me down. Right, we're going to do the -5 penalty. With advantage. 22?
Mm-hmm.
18?
18, yep.
And that's last one's not going to hit. Okay, right. I hope I do enough damage from these ones to get done. 27 damage.
27 damage does it.
Kills it.
I want to see what I want to see what the other one is to see how dead it is. But yes, that does kill it.
How much HP did
Okay,
it have
to
then?
reload.
Pardon?
How much HP did it have then?
I'll tell you this: it had over 200.
No, I mean...
have left.
Yeah. 5.
Oh,
so
JJ, if you'd have touched it.
So if I'd have touched it, I could have
You literally, I was...
About all week was fucking
Literally.
ripping its jaws open. But no!
I was waiting.
No.
So, Giri, how would you like to do this? Take down this massive Goliath of a yeti. An abominable yeti, if you will.
How tall is it?
It's about some like 12 feet tall, I'd say. Like 15 feet tall.
Right, so it's quite tired, and it's gonna make some really lazy swings at me. I'm just gonna duck in and out, and then cut inside the thigh, like really deep cut there, and then cut the calf on the other bit. And it's gonna kneel down a little bit, and I'm gonna ride up the back, jump up, and then just like, you know, when Legolas, I think he kills a troll like this, where he just flips it round and then just swords straight through the back of the neck, and just ride it down all the way.
And as you ride it down, you're now like stood next to Daviak. And as this thing just like goes from his knees, you're both just stood on now, like it's like shoulder blades at the back. And Daviak's like, nice. You've got a little something just
cut to Giri, just covered in purple blood.
Yeah, I was about to say, cut to Giri, and literally over your mask, over your helmet. Like, this thing is going to need a wash. If there was any colour underneath it, you cannot see any of it. That's that kind of thing where, like, you know, you try and wipe your own face, but no matter like how much you wipe, you're always just getting more on you.
I'll just respond to him. I'll say, "Oh, thanks. You look awfully clean."
Well, I had a bow.
Very covered in blood, and it's all in like spots and patches, and she's like, "Oh, just get this," and just smears it.
Actually, in response to that,
surface, but it's an absolute bitch to clean. I imagine that's what it's like with blood on Giri's armor.
pretty much. And in response to that, he's just going to go, "Okay, fine," and he just gives you a big hug. Let's go. Look at me now.
He's icky.
Alright, let's go see what the Minotaur's doing. jumps off this thing.
You're way too casual, mate.
Prepares to go. Balzanor, speaking of.
I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did last time.
Exactly the same thing as you did last time. Okay.
Hopefully
So,
this will kill it. Oh, fuck's sake.
high level cast, not great, but
It's shocking.
That is rough.
needs to roll the save. Roll the dex save. What's your spell save DC? 15.
15, yeah.
Fails with the 13. 11
What is
plus
it, now?
6. And how would you like to do the spells and all?
Oh my god. Well, considering it was such a really poor roll, I'm going to say I go to aim, I don't know, where's that? Right in the centre of the chest, and I sort of slightly miss and get the shoulder, and then I don't know, that's just maybe enough.
Yeah, I like to think like of that. So like you slightly miss and get its shoulder, it turns and howls in pain, and then as it turns into the blast again and gets the other shoulder, and then it turns again and gets the other shoulder, and it just ends up spinning and spinning and spinning in this blast until eventually it just falls.
This is
like,
how I
and you just look at this thing, which now literally has just this ring of burning all around its back and all around its shoulders and across its chest and just everywhere. As it just sort of like lies there, a cold sort of like breeze just sort of like swats into the room to put out and sort of like blow away some of the smoke. But yeah, this thing, it definitely looks a lot different to the rest of them, which have just been hacked and slashed and bludgeoned. This one is just burned, just brutally burned. But there we go. The cave goes quiet, lest for the sort of like whistling of the wind and howling of the wind as it comes through the cave door and the heavy breathing of everyone else within here.
Just because I'm going to use the rest of my movement, I'm going to move up here. And
Well,
right now
we're out of initiative, so
okay.
you can all
I'm going to assume it's very
do
dark,
whatever
so I'm
you'd
going to
like.
do my
it is
So I'm
pretty
gonna-
dark, especially way back in
light
here.
on my
Can I run
horns
off to
again.
Balzanor and just say, I really hope Balzanor's okay.
Yeah, you run after Balzanor, manage to catch up to him in this final room. And what would you like to do, Balzanor?
What's up? I'm just going to, because I assume it's pitch black and I can't see, so I'm lighting my horns again.
Yeah.
This is my way of lighting the way.
I know, it's just such a great visual image, especially with the manual, like, touch. She gets me every time.
And what would you like to do?
Oh,
So you can see this thing of stones. I believe, Nevada, you did call out that he was in this final room. As you look at these stones, you do see some of them are a little bit different.
How long is this going to stay out?
Look, Nevada, what would you like to do?
I'm paralysed.
Oh yeah, you're paralyzed. Roll me a con save.
Thank God for that.
Another one. Oh yeah, it would be your turn next. Actually, before they do that, roll me another con save. 13. Not enough. Roll again. And again, yeah. As you are in this thing's hand, and its hand is still like rigor mortis type, still like clutching onto you a little bit, and you're just there like
Just pick up the
doesn't
Vader by
pass.
his feet and just hold him in front of Daviak upside down. And just be like,
Just give him a wiggle, try and wake him up.
sort of gently like shake him by his feet.
Fix him.
In Daviak's face, like.
Well, what the hell do you want?
Give him
How
a
do you want me
slap,
to-
try and wake him up.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, sure. Let's set him down. Devik tries to take him from you, slowly sets him down.
I've still got him.
That-
Upside down.
Just holding him upside down.
You know, one of those blow up things where he's like,
Was that okay?
Need some inspiration for this role play. Luke's living the role. Ragdolling everywhere.
I just imagine like upside down, yeah. Just Oh, yeah, Daviak will place his hands upon your face, which is now like rather low, and it's just really, really awkward. And he almost doesn't want to, but he's there. He's like, fine. Places his hands upon you, and yes, you are now not paralyzed anymore. Congratulations. As suddenly you feel first, it sort of like starts at his touch, which is like sort of like your cheeks, and slowly like you just and then suddenly you can finally like feel, because through all this, like, you took the damage, but you couldn't really feel it because you were paralyzed. So now suddenly, all in one, you've just felt hitting an ape being used as a bludgeoning weapon for a massive yeti.
I'm just gonna take him and put him on my back.
So yes, Nevado, you're back up.
And then just start through the cave where Balzanor and Giri went.
Yeah. So you guys start moving off. Daviax essentially just says, I'll leave you guys deal with the golem. I'll wait out here, make sure nothing else comes up our way. And he will just sort of like wait around here, just by the entrance with his bow out.
I'm going to follow down and not get stuck because I can't go any further.
I mean, if you want to stay, you can make a dex check as a giant ape to try and squeeze through that bit. If you would like.
I am absolutely going to make a dex check to try and squeeze.
We just make him, please let him get stuck there.
That's
14, I'll say, yeah.
That's a 16 overall.
A 16 overall, I'd say, yeah, you could definitely make it through. It takes a little while. It takes, it takes a little, but you do manage to like push through like, and as you sort of like pull, you like manage to loose a couple of like icicles next to you and around you, in the ceiling, and there's this big like poof as you pull yourself free. And now stood in the room is a samurai, a minotaur with its horns alight, a giant ape, and a druid. And I think that's beautiful.
Sounds like the start of a bad joke.
It really does. So, Balzanor and Giri, as all this has been going on and you've been looking at these stones, what would you like to do?
Oreson!
Oreson! Oreson!
There is no movement for the first bit. But you can just sort of hear, Is it gone? Is the smelly thing gone?
Yes, it's gone. We killed it.
Giri's still here, so the smelly thing probably not.
Oh,
I mean,
you're
covered in blood.
you're a minotaur. You
Covered in
reek.
blood!
You actually reek.
You are drenched in this
I've
thing's
never
blood.
seen you shower ever, or bathe, or anything.
You're nasty.
Your breath
And with
stinks.
that, and with you guys like talking between each other and yourselves, suddenly the rocks begin to sort of like move, and slowly, just one by one, they just start to roll just a little bit out into the front. And then you can see this symbol on its sigil on its back, which was cracked. It still is cracked, but it just has this tiny sort of flicker of light. And then suddenly, in this almost like a whirlwind, like a torrent of just spinning rocks, and sort of like a 10-foot sort of cube, they all amass into Oreson, who has now lost, instead of his right arm, his left arm. And he stands before you, all happy. That wasn't fun. Giri!
Did you
Grabs
end
you
up
with
here?
one hand,
Okay.
picks you up, and then pushes you straight into his chest to like go for a hug, but he's made of stone, so this just hurts. As he pushes you in. Oh, Cowman! Mr. Stone. Hello there.
Hello.
What happened to Catman, dude?
Oh, that he's there.
You got a bit big.
No, that's... Is that
He's
a
now
magic...
Monkey Man do.
Is that a magic monkey?
It is
Yes.
a magic monkey, yes.
Oh my... You're all full of magic people. Oh, this is incredible. Hello there, magic monkey. I'm Oreson, Magic Ball. These are my friends, and this is a home of a big, scary monster thing. What's... You all look like you need a clean there. What,
No. How did you get in here?
Oh, right, yeah. Well, you told me to run, and it was getting pretty dark, so I ran, and I ran towards the cliffs, and I was like, okay, well, Giri will come for me. I want to be somewhere safe, so when her and her friends show up, I can be safe. So I found this cave, and when I went to the cave, this thing attacked me. It jumped on me, Giri. It was scary, but I fended it off. I did not just fall on it and kill it under my weight. Nope. I fended it off. I was like pow and whack and wallop and all the good things like you all do. Did not fall on it whatsoever. That's a very important part. But in the battle, I lost my other arm.
Did we see it? Did we see it coming in, Ben?
You did, yes.
Okay. Don't worry, Oreson. This one will be much easier to find.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, but I killed that one, and I heard more things in the distance. I think these things. I think they only go out at night. But they leave some to like guard the nest kind of thing. But so I went to the farthest back little hiding nook I could, and I turned into rocks. I didn't quite realise that this was the big one sleeping dead, and so I've just been here as rocks for a couple of days. It was getting really uncomfortable. Some of me was upside down, and some of me wasn't. It was not very nice, and that thing defecated while you're standing in a little bit, Mr. Ape Man. I'm sorry to say. Yeah. It was very...
Well, we're here now.
A good time.
We put this whole ordeal behind us.
Well, that's a relief. So, what now, gang? Wait, where did you guys go? What happened to all of you? What happened with the big things?
We killed them.
Things that were coming.
Oh.
You're very violent. Magic people, I suppose. Violence is everywhere, they say.
We didn't kill the stone giants. Nevado's being a twat.
What's a twat?
Oh no. That's a conversation we'll have a bit later in your life.
Bit later in my life. Okay. Okay. Should we get out of this really dark?
Do you know what we did?
Really
Oreson, firstly,
yes.
we found you because we like you, but secondly, we found you. We'd like to go see Ciro, so do you think you could take us to him?
Oh yeah! I thought we were going to go back to him. I have many questions, like how was I made, and why did he choose rocks? Don't like rocks. I've had a lot of time to think down here, and I was thinking, what about ice? Ice would be fun, because then I'd never get too warm. I'd always be cold.
What
I
about
like
the
being
sun?
cold.
Yeah.
What about the sun?
Seasons wouldn't do you a good job.
It would melt you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, oh yeah.
What about campfires?
Made of
Yeah.
campfires.
They would melt you too.
Well, now Nevada, you
being
put me in a
around
bit of a
Balzanor
pickle
would
here,
help
because I
as
don't know
well.
what I'd like to be, but I know I don't like to be rocks.
Rocks is good.
Is rocks
Rocks are
good?
strong.
Ah. I know you'd say rocks is good. Your name's Stone.
Yes.
It's a bit unfair,
He's
isn't it?
got you there.
Little bit unfair, Mr. Nevado. But I'll take your word for it. Maybe I'll stay Stone. Alright, Mr. Ape. Magic Ape, sir. Monkey. Do. You gave me a lot of
Monkey,
names.
just Monkey
What's-
do, yeah.
Monkey Do. Is he gonna tag along?
Yes. He'll carry you if you ask nicely.
He'll
Oh.
throw you if you ask nicely too.
But thrown? I don't want to get thrown. That sounds painful. Where do you land? How far could he throw me?
I mean, did
Maybe-
you
can
say
he
he's
throw-
like
can he-
15 feet tall, so I imagine he's about the same size.
Can he throw us all to zero and we don't have to do any of that dreadful walking?
He can't throw you that far.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Should we hit the road? Time's a ticking.
Let's
Yes.
go.
Yes.
I need a rest.
Let's go. As you,
Nevado sounds like he smokes 40 a day.
he does a little, yeah.
It's all those herbal remedies he's been taking.
And as you depart the cave, Daviak sort of takes a look at Nevado. Like, Daviak takes a look at Oreson. Like, oh God, he's a big fucker. I didn't mean that.
Don't
Hello.
swear in front of the child.
I'm sorry. Did you just say child?
He was born
Our
about
child,
3
yeah.
days ago.
We're escorting what is essentially a baby golem that's 15 feet tall to what you're saying is a cloud giant.
Yeah, but I know it seems crazy, but
We haven't smoked
watch this. Orson, do the thing with your eyes.
Oh yeah. And as you're sort of like in the cave, just dunk, and it lights up, and it's like blindingly bright. Obviously, there's daylight still coming in, but as he looks around the cave, it proper lights up, and a lot of the icicles in here also reflect a lot of the light, and it's just very obnoxiously bright in here. Oh well, that's really great.
That
Awesome.
negates everything he does wrong.
Yeah. When we get back to Northgard, we're gonna have a little talk about the allies we find and things like that. Cool.
To be fair, Daviak, at least our one's alive.
That's fair. Fair.
Peace out, bitch.
And on that note, you can start to. What's your plan now? What's
I'm going
your
to
plan
immediately
now?
apologise to Daviak. 'Cause that's really uncalled for.
So, what is the plan now?
What time of day is it?
So, let's see. So you left the Stone Giants camp. You left around the side of the Stone Giants camp. It took you a couple of hours to get there, about 5 hours to get there, and an hour. So, say you woke up at 8 to there. It's probably around like mid-afternoon, like 2-ish. Like 3. You had to put a number on it. Yeah, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
We can make some decent headway then to the mountain.
Yeah, I think you can probably make some decent headway today, unless you want to have any kind of rest or anything. Here, it does very much smell in this cave, and there's obviously still blood everywhere.
That's nice.
But yeah, if you all want, we can start making.
Is everyone looking alright? Nevada, you look a bit worse, swear.
Yes. I'm a bit sore.
Yeah, I'm down to 42 HP.
Ooh. What are you on, Nick?
Going to do.
Oh. I don't know who's the healer. You can do it yourself.
I can heal myself. I can heal you if you want.
Have you got any group healing stuff? Now would be a good
I've
time to use it, I think.
I've got Aura of Vitality.
Yes,
that
you
what
put
it
that
is?
on your sheet wrong. I meant to say that's a 3rd level spell, not a 4th level spell. You've put it as a 4th level spell. It's actually 3rd.
Ah, that's nice.
There you go.
Thanks.
Um,
Well, I have Aura of Vitality.
Should we do a quick heal up then before we head off? I'm okay. I'm at like 90, which is.
Daviak can heal one of you a
That
little bit.
literally is
If you,
Is
if
that
you
it?
like.
pretty much
Is that
the full
it?
length.
You can do that 10 times and share it between whoever you like.
Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So, who's taking what healing now? We'll go from the 6. So, who's taking the first 6?
Who needs healing?
It's between you and
Well,
I need-
Balzanor.
I need 49 HP to get back to the top.
alright, well, don't be greedy, okay?
No,
You can
I'm
have-
just stating. I'm not. I
You can
want
have
all
the
of it.
six.
Right,
You can have
Bal-
the 6 and
10,
7.
6, yeah.
6, 7, 5. That's 18 HP back.
And you can have the 11.
29 HP back.
Okay.
And then I'll
No, you
take
can need some.
the 7. The 5. That's 12. Which puts me on 34. And the 8 is 42. Anyone else need much?
Not compared to the levels you two are on, I'm fine.
Okay, well, I'll take the 9, and that puts me on 51. Matt have the 8, and I'll have the 6.
Here's.
How long do temporary hit points last for? The day? Or
Yeah, until you take a long rest.
okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah,
I'm also going to cast Cure Wounds
or
on
until
myself.
they, or until you get any more temporary hit points. I
Is
believe.
it only long or is it short?
Matt, what are you
I
on
don't
now?
know.
I'm on 75.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
If you want, how much till you top up?
16.
Okay. Yeah. Davio can basically explain. He can only do one more set of healing. So, does he want to use it on you now or something else later?
I mean, I reckon the likelihood we're going to get into another battle where I'm going to lose more than 75 HP is unlikely before we get a long rest. So I think I'm fine.
Ben just chuckled in his mind.
Yeah, Daviak will give you the last 16 then. Daviak will give you the last 16. Just to be nice.
Okay.
And that's that. Oh, goody. I think that's downloaded. No, it didn't download everything. That is very, very sad. Alright, so. Heading for the mountain? Let's go. So, you guys begin your journey once more, heading out into the wilderness of, of the north. Can everyone, now that you're embarking essentially on a new journey, make me another set of survival checks? So again, anything you think would be useful for surviving out in the north, any check, any magic, any spell, any ability, anything you feel like you can use for that.
Can I
Roll away.
an athletics check as a giant ape still to have got like 5 minutes left in this, I'm guessing, or like 50 minutes left in this bottom off. Use it in combat ability to like try and forge a path through the snow, so it's like piled up and you have to sort of like wade through it. I just like push through it so everyone can walk more easily.
I'd say if you wanted to do it as a giant ape, because I mean you've got a fair walk to go. It's going to take you maybe like a day or two to get to Ciro. So 1 hour isn't necessarily going to benefit your group much. If you wanted to do it and say that you like cast polymorph again, like when the snows thing, and take another level 4 spell slot off, then yeah. Fair enough. Then anything else you would like to roll and or get, or not get?
Ben, I rolled
Use.
athletics.
You did roll athletics? Yeah, of course. 18, 14, 19. Well, Mittens' roll. And I'll give Daviak a quick little survival roll as well.
Just push on ahead and just make sure we're hitting landmarks, basically. Or spotting them so that we can change course if we're a little bit off.
I will spot dangers and hazards on the road.
Alrighty. Well, you guys eked out a fair few successes there. Unfortunately, Nevado failed with the survival, but everyone else pretty much passed. So, You're
The druid seems to roll shit. It's just your
So-
luck, Luke.
No, it's shocking.
Are you a mountain druid?
Yeah, so like
These,
this is my
these aren't your mountains, though.
no. They're not my
exactly.
mountains.
He's not quite moved his
Yeah.
stuff in yet. He's still working out the bills and everything. Hasn't told the council he's coming there either, so it's all a big hassle.
Yeah,
It's a whole
not in
thing.
with the local youths.
Exactly. Alright, so you head upon your way, and you're now heading sort of like, obviously if you remember the map, there's obviously like the forest, and then there's the mountains to the left, and when you guys were looking at the mountains, it's further north than any of you have actually probably gone so far. And as such, it is getting a little colder, and you're definitely keeping more of an eye out for dangers and things like that as you're pushing on. You managed to stay as a decent huddle, and you managed to find some decent paths through this winding forest, which obviously doesn't have many paths, if any. A lot of the storm that's been going on in the past couple of days has disguised a lot of them, but you managed to sort of like weave your way around a lot of the trees and stuff to find your way. And as I said before, it's not a way you're heading, in the direction you're heading, it's obviously a little colder, so it's not going to be this densely packed forest like it is a little more south. You are finding that the snow is being a little more of a restraint, but with Giri pushing on ahead, and with all of you, passing your checks and things like that, and with Oreson there as well, who, after maybe seeing you do it as the giant ape at first, he proceeds to sort of like offer his services and essentially like walk ahead of you to make like this trench either side of him, because obviously his arms come down to like his knees as well. So as he's pushing along, he's sort of like opening his hands, like, it's cold, slightly cold, as he's pushing along ahead. Is there anything anyone would like to do while they're traveling? Anything anyone would like to talk about or ask or anything like that? Or are you just pushing on? Anything anyone would like to try and gather or things?
Weird lantern I found.
Investigate the weird lantern, of course. Do you have anything to investigate it with, or are you just rolling a check?
No, well, I look at it, look for like symbols on it. So I hold it
Cool.
up and stand still for a little bit and like try and manually like make it stay still with my hand and then let it go and see if it starts swinging on its own again.
Yeah, so you sort of like hold it up, and it's still, and then literally as soon as you let go, it just starts slowly rocking, and then it sort of goes to like a sort of like pendulum type thing, like a 45-degree arc, slowly.
It's swinging quite
But-
a lot then.
Yeah, like now that it's sort of like out in the open air, and it is pretty like breezy and
What
stuff.
happens when we've lost Nevado? What happens if
Oh, we have lost Luke.
that's like this thing was like in my bag and stuff, and so I pulled it out.
Yeah.
If I put it like in my pack, does it try and like wiggle in my pack? Is my pack jiggling, or is it just still? It's only when I'm holding the chain that it.
Well, so it's interesting because obviously it's so even just like holding it and just holding it with like one finger in the opposite direction of it swinging,
Yeah.
it stops it swinging. So it's not a thing. So yeah, when you put it in your pack, you think if you put it loose enough, it might just start to slightly like roll or nudge or whatever, but only if it had the room. Otherwise, it does stay pretty still. Roll me a quick religion check for me, please,
Okay.
or Arcana,
Uh,
depending on which one you would like to do.
both the same.
I'd probably say a religion then would be more fruitful if you got a good roll. Alright, 14. So this looks like some kind of incense censer that you've maybe seen or heard about a lot of like more holy processions using. They'll walk down the aisle with these like herbs inside and things like that, and set it alight, and it'll start to swing. And it's meant to be a very, very holy thing. Why it swings on its own is a little bit interesting, but you do see some symbols around it pertaining to what you recognize the god of death. Too many gods in this world. Eberos, thank you very much. For some reason I was thinking Ebenezer, but that's Scrooge. No.
Can you please?
Yes, Eberos. So you can see a few of these symbols around, and some skulls, especially on the bottom lower thing. So this is definitely a potentially used in for either for clerics of Eberos or in his many churches and worshippings, and obviously he is brought up at a lot of funerals. May the god of death guide you to Celestia, or may the god of the hells shine on you and deny you from hell, things like that. So there's a lot of that stuff there, but obviously the big difference there is that it's not a flame. You don't even know if there's any herbs or anything within this, but obviously to do this you would need to have some kind of you'd need to have some kind of
possibly being some kind of incense burner. Can I open it? Is there an opening I can look inside?
Yeah, of course. Yes, there's a little latch that you have to undo, and as you open it, you do find just this little candle wick just inside, with a lot of this ground stuff around the sides, but it's nothing like you've ever seen before. It's pure black. Like when you've looked at things which are. Have you ever seen stuff online which is like the blackest black kind of thing? It's like a powder of that, just of pure, this very, very fine, almost like flour, but of the blackest black. It's really strange to look at, and there's just this little candle wick sticking just outside the top, and interspersed with it is sort of fine white and grey little particles, particulates, almost like ash. Or something like that, like someone's ashes or something's ashes interspersed within this, blackest black powder.
Is Eberos the one that Doc's had interactions with?
He is, yes.
JJ seems to have a magnet for the god of death.
He does, funnily enough. I rolled randomly which ones you guys would find, and that was kind of funny.
Okay. I'm gonna stick my finger in it and just scoop out a little bit and just be like, has anyone ever seen this before?
Anyone can make a nature check if they want to see if they no, not nature, religion check to see if they might have seen anything like that before, or an arcana check, like I said.
I think I know about it.
That is not.
Okay.
I'll roll for damage as well to see if you can give.
Pulled out an entire chemistry set to identify it.
So Balzanor, you have seen this stuff before. You went to a funeral long ago for maybe it was a family member, maybe it was a family friend, something like that. You're not entirely sure. They were human, whoever they were. You don't quite remember, and you remember them having this, censer. And you remember talking to one of them as he was refilling this stuff. This does seem to be a thing that the churches of death use. Rather uninventively, they call it death powder. And it is a form of incense, if you would, that is used in very, very high, very, very important people's funerals. It is, in some cultures, said to be not only culture that you've heard of in Ambyr, but in some cultures and cults and things like that, it is said to be, the stuff that is reserved for to make the holy houses, the temples, the churches of funeral processions and things. It's meant to almost attract a godly presence, an unearthly presence. And it has a lot to do with things like spirits. It's meant to help with, gathering the spirits so that they can be called to arms and help this person reach Celestia, things like that. It's a very, very ornate thing, very expensive. This is kind of this is in tune with some of the finest spices of our world. How much people pay for that kind of thing. Balzanor, you think looking at this, just selling this amount, you could easily get 100 gold just off the tiny little, you can maybe fill 2 vials of this stuff and you could get 100 gold for it easy. and the ashes interspersed in between, you think, well, this is probably then someone's ashes. Maybe part of the procession is putting the person's ashes, part of them, into this censer, so it is literally like the person is calling spirits, in this in this type of thing.
It's quite an important person.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be quite an important person. Which
is there any indication on the lamp of who it could be?
No, there is. This is I say it's a fairly generic one, but looking at it, it doesn't surprise you that it's for important people because of the decoration, because of the intricacy, the amount. You can tell it has been cleaned and re-cleaned. The metal it's fairly dull metal, but still has a sheen, a shine. There is no rust on it whatsoever, no aging whatsoever, especially even on the chain. Every link of the chain is perfect and perfectly done. There's no scratches, no tiny little things on it at all. For these people to have just been hanging this thing in their ship or whatever was a bit of a just like attached to some like knight's armor or something. It was a little bit strange.
So they use
And Balzanor, you're
summon spirits to guide the person into the afterlife, essentially.
something like that, yes. And yeah, Balzanor, you're looking at this and thinking it's fairly spiritual, and you're thinking, well, there's still ashes in it though, which means this was used for someone's funeral, but they never disposed of the ashes. They never, they never disposed of the ashes. They never put the person's ashes back with their, the rest of their ashes to rest, and therefore, in the cultist belief, in the beliefs of this, there is a spirit. Potentially, what is causing it to swing is this still spiritual nature within it, perhaps. Just how to unlock that, how to utilize that, if you utilize it at all and you wish to put that to rest yourselves, is entirely up to you. But yeah,
Still potentially a spirit contained within causes it to swing.
that causes it to swing, and maybe something else. You don't really know. Obviously, you don't know how necessarily these things are activated. Like I said, there's this little candle wick thing on the inside that hasn't yet been touched. So, from this, you can probably make out that this was meant for someone's funeral, but then whoever these people were that owned this ship either nicked it, or it was just misplaced, or it was whatever, before it could actually be used properly.
Can I investigate my gauntlet, please?
You can investigate your gauntlet. So make me.
I will not be. I'm not a man. I'm not a lady of magic. So I will not investigate it as thoroughly as Mittens did. I'll probably just put it on and off.
Put it on and off. So you put it on, and as you put it on, you definitely feel something almost like tingling, just in like the tips of your fingers, and you're sort of like moving around. There are these sort of like symbols of a nature of magic that, yes, as a magic user, you wouldn't necessarily understand. Balzanor and Mittens, you guys use a lot of spells, actually, and Nevado as well. You can all roll me
a lot.
You can all roll me, because I think you all actually have access to a couple of the things. So all roll me Arcana checks, please.
Another nat 20.
I can get any better than my last Arcana.
Oh, Nevado and Balzanor, some damn good rolls here. Yeah,
I won't
kind of makes sense actually, because you guys are looking.
We're
at
just
this.
having a good old chat, a deep chat about magic.
Yeah,
Everyone's
you guys are
coming in with
really
some fire stuff.
Yeah, and every now and again, Oreson just goes in. Oh, but what does that mean? But otherwise, he's just sort of enthralled in this conversation, and is a little bit busy because maybe someone compliments him on pushing away the snow, and now he's really into it. But yeah, so you're looking at this, and these are symbols for a couple of spells that you might actually know. So one of them, there's this arcane, almost like how on a spell scroll page, it's not like a written thing. It's like imagery and runic type things, and you think this is an almost like simplified down thing of some kind of teleportation spell. Probably not an amazing one, but you're looking at it and you're thinking, yeah, fuck, this is pretty good. There must be some kind of teleportation thing here, and because there are 5 images of the same thing, you're thinking, okay, it must have almost like 5 charges then of whatever this is. Again, how you necessarily activate it? Would you try and activate it or utilize it in some way, or?
Well, I'd say, because we know of these sorts of things, and I've done the same thing for Dabiak's sword. Like, I know about attunement, so I would wear it as we're traveling.
Okay, yeah.
And then maybe give it like an hour, and then if you say it's teleportation, we'll find a nice open area where I can't splice into anything, and I'll just focus on somewhere ahead and just close my eyes and hope for the best.
Okay. So, with this spell, with this thing, you do eventually learn, and you can feel this within you. And you now learn that this thing, yes, like I said, has 5 charges of 2 separate spells. Well, has 5 charges, and you can use how many you want. So, for 1 charge, you can cast Misty Step. Simple thing, Misty Step, bonus action, same thing. For 4 charges, you can cast Dimension Door.
Ooh.
Which, for those of you who don't know, it allows you to move up to 400 feet away and take someone with you as well. So, pretty good spell. That is an action, obviously, whereas Misty Step is a bonus action. Doesn't affect your AC at all. However, to wear it, you do need proficiency in medium armor to wear it, as it is, you do need to be somewhat used to wearing and utilizing quite some heavy armors. Obviously, it's not like a full set of heavy armor, but being dexterous with your hands and fingers and things in some kind of armor. But yes, you do figure that out. Is there anything else? I believe you also got a cloak, very fancy cloak that's keeping you very warm. Mittens.
Yeah, I think I'm going to sort of wear that, and while I've mainly focused on the lantern for the initial time being. Just sort of like almost like not really think about it, just like put it on and be like, keep me warm while I focus on this other thing.
Yeah, keeps you very, very warm. Like I said, it's got this little chain with this little sort of like signet thing of like a wolf right in the right sort of like in the center there. Almost has this like distinct little glow just in the little signet of the wolf on this little chain. Yeah, keeps you very, very warm. It's this like black cloak with a white sort of like shoulder thing and a white sort of like wolf's head just on your shoulder. Looks pretty fancy. Like I said, definitely keeps you warm. Keeps you very, very warm. Sort of in your environment. Yeah, you don't face any of the adverse effects of any of that. And after a while, you do feel a little something shimmer, sort of like down your spine as you wear it.
Stop touching me.
But otherwise, if you're not really trying anything with it, if you're not really focusing on it or anything like that, you just wear it. Keeps you nice and toasty, as some other people are, shivering as you're heading way through this forest. Yeah, like I said, pushing your way through. As you continue through the forest and get a little more north, you begin to see signs that people have been around this area before, especially some of the survival rolls and things like that. People have been here recently. Footsteps around and signs of different sort of things. There's arrows, there's javelins sort of in the sides of things, there's axes and stuff, just like people have had like throwing axes and arrows and javelins and thrown them and disregarded them, not come back to pick them up. And you do happen to walk into a sort of clearing, and you can see a Sorry, let me just get my notes up.
Sounds like you're 35 damage, Matt.
Absolutely. So you see a few sort of large, thick logs, like poles, pegged into the ground, standing at least like 20 feet in height. And upon them hang orcs and goblins. And upon the bottom of the middle one, so it's like 3, and upon the bottom of the middle one, tied to it, is an ogre who's clearly been pierced several times. Above the bodies are skulls and skeletons of smaller animals, things like squirrels, hedgehogs, foxes, maybe some smaller birds and things like that. Pretty weird. A lot of them definitely have
dead?
cuts that there was a scuffle. Yeah, they're all sadly dead.
Alright.
You guys have been fighting the orcs for a little while, so this doesn't seem out of the realm of something they would do, but to their own
Orcs, goblins,
people now.
yeah.
And an ogre right down at the bottom, yeah. This doesn't seem out, too far of the realm of something they might do. Definitely a little weird. Again, people can make a religion check if they would like to try and ascertain what might have happened here, but otherwise you can just keep moving on. Nevada, was that your religion check
Yep.
for this? Or yeah,
Matt, you're rolling some fire today.
yeah, Matt, you're doing pretty well.
I
Today.
was suddenly become very wisdomless.
Yeah, so Nevado and Balzanor, you're kind of looking at this and you remember hearing about Ilnaval. Obviously this, as you discovered before, some orcs have now decided to worship Grumsh's wife rather than Grumsh himself. Maybe because, just a blind rage clearly didn't help them in Northgard. Or at least it did for a bit, but it failed them quite badly in Northgard. So now they're going to Grumsh's wife, who's more about the land, about survival, the brutality of the land and things like that. And you're looking at this, and this to you clearly seems like an almost like public. This would have been a public procession. Potentially not long ago, there were potentially quite a few orcs and goblins here who would have watched as all of these things would have been hung up on this large thing, adorned with small, considered weak animal skulls, and killed. And it's essentially to make a mockery of them. Say, look at you, you're no better than these small little animals we killed because you are weak. For whatever reason, these ones were designated as weak. They were. And apparently, that shit don't go in orcish society. And you also think maybe this is a thing of, people to the south as well, almost warning you, like, we're weeding out our weak to make sure nothing like what happened ever happens again. That sort of thing you're looking at. And it's a pretty grim scene, pretty horrid. Gaviak pays no attention, he just walks right on by. He barely looks up to see it, if he's honest. He just sort of walks right on by. Any of you guys like to do anything, or just continuing on going?
I don't know. I know what I would do, but I don't know if Giri would do it. I'd like to burn it, but I think that might attract some attention, so I think we'll just leave it.
Yeah, fair enough. Just leave it, head on, keep on going. Eventually, you come to the edge of the mountain. You make it through the forest, absolutely no problems at all. You come to the edge of this mountain, and you do find, unlike the Stone Giants one, this isn't a climb. Thankfully, thank every god in existence, there is actually, it does look like a path that does travel up and seem to wind up and around. And it's marked with a large sort of stone slab set into the ground. Probably once there may have been some kind of wording or something on this, and it's very, very large as well. Possibly a giant type thing. Although, it's about the size of you guys, and giants, you're up to their knees. So, probably just like a small standing stone to say, yeah, here's the start of the path. Seems a little bit too tall and upright and it's like slim to just be like a random stone. This is clearly some kind of slab, but through weathering and aging, you're not quite sure what it says. And from there, you continue up the path. I think that is where I will ask everyone to just make a quick athletics check as you're pushing on, trudging on up the path with good old Oreson at your front.
Yeah,
This could also be a good time for a break as well, yeah. So I'm going to just roll a quick athletics and we'll take a break. And we'll be back to see what that might denote.
Oh, Balzanor, we've been shown up by the week.
Well, I am in hooves, so that hooves are not exactly snow-worthy.
Not quite, no. But
Unless you want to go skiing or sliding, which is more accurate.
Anyway, we'll take a break there. I'll see you where were we? I was just editing some future stuff. So yeah, who rolled what in this? Oh, the beefy ones. The beefy ones outdid it, which kind of makes sense because you're a bit more stocky, less light on your feet. Potentially what's coming up. So I have a question to you all. As you approach the base of the mountain, the sun is beginning to set. The sun has gone below a lot of the mountains. You are now in the shade and in the shadow of the many mountains around you. It's pretty dark, and it will obviously only get darker. You can either get an early night now. It's about sort of like 7 p.m. now. You can either get an early night now and head up in the morning. Potentially a little bit longer in the morning. You'll have to add a couple of hours to your journey, but otherwise, you make it there by, instead of making that there tomorrow afternoon, you'll make it there tomorrow evening. Or actually no, instead of making it there early afternoon, you'll make it quite late afternoon. Or you can spend a couple of hours now trying to keep ascending, make the first leg of the journey, and hopefully find somewhere to rest. They both got pros and cons. You don't know what's down here in the, down at the base in the forest and things, but you also don't exactly know if you'll find somewhere safe to sleep up there. Though it does look like the path is quite wide. It's obviously made for giants, so potentially just sleep on the path kind of thing. It's entirely up to you. What's the group consensus?
Sorry, this path looks kind of like, do you say it looks like a giant set of stairs?
It is, so it's not necessarily like a set of stairs, more... so the pathway probably was once, very long time ago, a very nice, path, and it was probably it's like slate stone in places where it's fairly smooth, and then obviously, as it goes up, somewhat sharp inclines, it does turn to stairs, but otherwise it's like a sloping sort of gradient. Okay. Obviously nowadays, through a lot of weathering and a lot of, not many things using it, these slate things have gotten a little misshapen and things. There's no detail in them anymore, but they're still there, and it is definitely a pathway of sorts. So what are you thinking? Stay down in the bottom, or head up and get up?
Is it up this mountain that is 0, or is it like we're crossing this mountain to get to another one?
It is essentially heading up this this mountain. This mountain is like a fairly long one. If you imagine, it's almost like that kind of thing, and then supposedly up here, and you're heading up this almost like longer section here. Almost, you're heading up this slightly flatter part. It seems to get up.
Yeah, we're not climbing so much as just.
Yeah. You're not climbing. You just. Yeah. Essentially, just walking up a big set of stairs and a big.
I vote we get up a little bit and we go from there, because I think if we're at the base, things might be more likely to attack us. But I can't imagine a lot of things come up this path if they're aware of what it is. But I'm easy, don't mind. Let's make some headway then.
All right, you will begin to make some headway into the late evening. Giri and Balzanor, the both of you put in a fair shift earlier on, and you're starting to feel it a little bit now. And sadly, you both do accumulate a point of exhaustion.
Oh no.
As you proceed up this sort of long stepway. As you continue up, you are almost like chasing the sunset. It seems, the further you're sort of like traversing up and up and up, the more you can just see the sunset cresting over the horizon of the mountains before eventually darkness sets in, almost, half an hour to an hour after you initially set off. Oreson is the first to say something, and he immediately lights his, big beams in his eyes first for you guys to sort of see where you're going as he's trudging his way, very much not quietly. And you can see, you can definitely see the aging and weathering of these stones, as sometimes you'll step on one or two of them and just a large crack will appear. He's obviously a big stone golem. and he pushes the way up for you. A couple of hours pass. You all settle down, eventually to sleep. And overnight, you chose correctly. There is nothing that really traverses this path. Would anyone be taking watches at any point? Or, I'm assuming you're Lehman's tiny hutting. If you still have the spells. Magic balling. If you are, Oreson gets extremely excited. He wants to come in, but realizes he won't fit, so he'll just stand there as headlights again.
Yeah, that's real unfortunate, but can't come in.
It's okay. I'll be the magic light. Yeah, magic light. He just sort of stands there looking out, and he's very much. He almost got like lighthouse vibes as he's, like looking out on this massive expanse. And obviously, his headlights aren't really lighting anything when he looks out at the massive expanse of everything. But he's just there like, wow, beautiful. I don't really like the height though. That didn't work well for me before. He sort of dings his arm in its place. Wow. Sort of looks off. Occasionally he'll as you guys are speaking, he'll look back at you and blind you for a minute. But otherwise, he just sort of he just sort of does his thing. Daviak will offer to take one of the watches if you guys wish, but nothing really happens on any of them. If anyone does take a watch,
why not?
Yeah, Daviak sits there first for a couple of hours, and then Giri, as you start to sort of wake up, he rolls over. Just make a quick perception check, Giri. Yeah, you notice. So as Daviak sort of rolls over, he's not sleeping. He's just rolled over, sort of like that, but just sort of staring for a little while. And though sometimes he shuts his eyes a little bit, he just, he's definitely not asleep, as far as you can tell. And he does occasionally sort of look over. You see at one point he does turn in his sleep to try and look at you, and there's a very, very brief moment where you can just see his eyes slightly open to see if you're still awake, or see if you're, whatever you're doing, or whatever. But there's nothing really.
Can I shake him awake and just you don't have to tell me, but I feel like I'm here for you to be someone to talk to if you want. What's going on? The few things not quite adding up here.
I don't know. It's a lot is on the line. Yeah, and obviously if we don't get this done, some bad things are going to happen to me. And you and my brother and a lot of people. It's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure by a lot of people to get a lot of things done. I'm glad you all came to help carry the burden, I guess.
Yeah, no one man or woman should carry this burden alone, I think. I'm surprised you wanted to.
Well, I don't really know what I was thinking. I guess I wasn't thinking. I mean, I had no intention of going back and seeing my family. I was too focused, I guess.
You've got to make time for things like family, though. That reminds you of what you're fighting for.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe one of these days, if we make it out of this, I'll head up and, down, I guess, and see them. Might be kind of nice. Chill out with Mazzy and everyone again. I don't know, I've been back there in a while now, so it's Well, it'll be interesting, but hey, family's just a word, am I right? It's, I think I found more brothers I found fighting, and sisters I found fighting. They were my true family in the end. The ones who birthed me. I mean, my parents. They were good and all, but there's no camaraderie quite like this. You don't get this kind of camaraderie in civilian life, I suppose.
No, but wars come and go, and family's always there. So.
I guess so. Good point. But there's always a war somewhere.
That's
I guess.
a good point.
So, anyway, if you want, you can head to sleep. I'll take the rest of the watch.
No, you get some actual sleep, Daviak. I'll take it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Rolls over. Make another perception check.
He's not getting sleep, is he? Ick.
Does he need sleep? My question.
It?
It's not Mittens.
Yeah, he ain't gonna
Mittens.
sleep. He ain't sleeping.
Okay.
Would anyone take the watch next? Would anyone?
Yeah, I want to have a look
Yeah?
at the cloak while I'm on watch.
Yeah, have a look at the cloak. Yeah, so you have a look at this cloak. It's very, very finely made, very ornately made. There's something about... Make me a nature check.
A
Nature check. Booyakasha. So, with a 10, you would know that this wolf on the shoulder is no ordinary wolf. You don't know what kind, but I mean, you fought wolves the other day. No hair glistens this much when you're looking at it under the light. No wolf hair does this, especially after you've been traveling. It almost looks a little bit like, it almost looks a little bit like, sort of like fake fur kind of thing. It looks almost like, it has a little bit of a glint, a little bit of a shine to it. It's definitely not fake. You can tell. You can tell by, the animal. There is still the skull within the, animal itself, and things like that, and still anatomically correct and everything. So this definitely isn't. But there's definitely something about the fur of this animal, this white wolf hide. It's definitely very, very different. And you've been wearing this for a while now, and you remember feeling that chill. Like I said, there's this chain with the little sort of like wolf locket on that. Would you like to do anything there? Would you like to, I don't know, try and activate anything in any way with the skull, do anything like that, or?
Wearing it before, you said there was some sort of like tingling that came along with it.
Yeah, there was like a tingling that came from... It was almost like a cold tingling, like someone had breathed like a cold breath where this wolf's hide was, sort of on your shoulders, down you, and you could feel it almost like pass through you. Eventually you could almost like feel it in your toes, in your teeth, in your ears, like everything. But it was only for like a moment, only when you get those like shivers down your spine, kind of length of time.
I can't think of anything to do at this point in time.
Fair enough. Sit there for a little while. With your passive perception is like 17, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So even with that, you can sort of like, everyone's breathing heavy, everyone's moving around. Daviak is like perfectly still, and you almost, you do get the sense that he's not really sleeping. He's just laying there, almost, just silently. But if there's nothing else, you may complete your watch. That's 3. Would anyone else want to? Anyone else want to finish up the watch, or?
I don't mind finishing up.
Yeah, you can finish up the watch. Is there anything you'd like to do during this time? Anything you'd like to go about doing, or anything like that, or?
Not really. Didn't pick up anything that I needed to research or learn about. So no.
Fair enough. Yeah, you just watch, sort of like as Oreson, like, you know, stares out into the openness, with his lights somewhat sort of like lighting the way. The rhythmicness of his looking around is a little bit bothersome at times, but there we go. But yeah, you can all get a long rest. You can refill spell slots and HP and everything like that. And as the sun rises upon the mountain, you may all set off once more. You'll push on, because you did some of the walk the night before and some of the walk today, so your exhaustion is now gone.
Daviak look?
How does Daviak look?
I'm sexy. Oh yeah.
He gets up.
Say sexy, Matt.
Yeah, damn sexy.
Is it because he's based on Mazzy, who is based on you?
What? No.
He gets up. He dusts himself off. Packs his what do you call them? Bedroll into his pack. Asks if anyone's hungry. He's not really. He grabs a couple of bits of like jerky or whatever. But yeah, he's ready to go. He's almost like sat on one of the rocks, just like waiting for you guys to finish everything up so that you can get going. He's clearly a little bit antsy to go this morning, as you're somewhat close to a bit of a breakthrough.
So he doesn't look tired, and he doesn't look like a man who hasn't slept.
Not initially. Not perceivably.
Okay.
Okay. Continue up the mountain. You'll do very, very well in your survival checks. And because you went... Oh, yep.
Okay, as we walk, I just want to sort of like tap Giri and just drop back a little bit behind the others. And just like... I'm assuming this is along the lines of we like arranged an order of watches so someone like, knows who's went in order and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he looks physically tired to me, which he should be because he didn't sleep. He looks like he has a massive burden on his shoulders. But no, he didn't sleep.
For both
Keep
of
an eye on
you,
him,
just roll me a quick either deception or stealth as you're, you know, just like going back from the group. And I'm assuming you're trying not to gain the attention of Daviak. I'm assuming you're trying not to
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, you both sort of drop back a little. And 19, 13.
Mittens keeps pointing at Daviak. I'm like, don't fucking point at him.
Yeah, like so. At first,
I don't point, and I just point as like something on a mountain. Every time.
At first, you both find, you know, you slowly sort of drop back just that little bit. You manage to get this conversation off. And Giri, you know, just lean down to almost like tighten something in your thing. So it almost looks like that's the reason why you've slowed down. But Mittens, you do, you know, just make that quick skip, you know, springing your step back up to the group. And this instinctively Daviak just turns. Everything all right back there?
Yeah, Gary.
Yeah, all good. All good.
Okay. Okay. Keep up. What a weird shit on this mountain. Don't wanna lose you. Continues walking up.
What would I know
As you...
about things that don't need sleep? Because elves don't
What do you know
need sleep.
about things that don't need sleep.
like other things do, but they still need like a rest. But other than that, I'm struggling to think, even with my knowledge of D&D, like I'm struggling to think of anything other than something that's dead.
Something that's dead.
Oh, bloody hope not.
Doesn't need rest.
That feel good. He's been dead this whole time.
He's got big black feathery wings.
Yeah,
I mean, at least they're not like
true.
big
Yeah.
bat-like wings, but it's like, you know, Davio's got some weird changes, and he now doesn't seem to appear to sleep.
Yeah.
Just trying to work
I mean,
out
you can
whether
make a medicine check if you'd like, sort of thinking about, okay, you know, people need sleep. What kind of things might not? What sort of things can I think of? But really, yeah, I mean, an 8 is fitting because, yeah, I mean, you don't know, like, God, I don't know, does like animated shit need sleep? You're thinking of your animated stuff, like, well, that doesn't need to sleep. And I mean, I don't know, like, I've never really asked like any of like the Fae or any like anything if they need to sleep. Never really met one. I mean, do orcs even sleep? Like, how often do they sleep? How often do things sleep in comparison to other things? And this probably takes occupancy of your mind for most of the journey. Yeah, quite some time.
I'm mentally listing everything that I know of in my mind and estimating how long it needs to sleep per day.
Yeah, and you sort of like come to the conclusion that, okay, well, it could be anything. Fantastic. And it's almost at this, and you're just like, you know, shaking the thought out of your mind, just briefly, that you look up and realise, oh shit, we're here. And you can see, as you move forward on this path, this large stone door. It's a very, very large stone door, in fact. And upon the front are 2 stone golems that don't look too different from Oreson himself. There are a few distinct differences, however, to Oreson and these ones. First of all, these ones look a little more haphazardly made, but also a little stronger, as parts of them are made from actual statues. So you can see one of, you know, like the left one's right arm is actually made from an old statue of something that had a right arm. It's a little bit longer than the other one. Whoever's made these golems is clearly just using whatever the fuck he has on hand to create them. And, you know, maybe the other one has the head of that same statue or whatever, so, you know, and it's a little bit chiseled off and a little bit thing. And they stand either side of this door. And as you both appear, each of them just takes one step forward, almost in a ready stance of someone who's about to get tackled, of someone who's about to either start charging or about to get charged, and sort of like, you know, planting one foot in front of the other kind of thing. You pause for a brief moment. Oreson just looks down. I don't look that bad, do I?
No, Oreson, you look great.
Thanks, Catman. And eventually, after a brief moment, they slide back into their original positions. Their eyes blink. They look almost like at a 45-degree angle towards each other. And in this large open space in front of you, where you can see multiple other paths seem to gather here. It seems like this is... So if you took another path, you might end up slightly more north of the mountain. You'd go a north way, or you'd go in a way slightly more east across the mountains. Obviously, you guys have come from the west of the mountain. Maybe if you took this way, you'd come around a little more eastern. And they all gather, and in the middle of this sort of like gathering point, an apparition, a astral projection appears of Cyril. He is slightly less bejeweled this time than he was before. Before he had studs fucking everywhere across his face. Now he merely wears a quite large sort of nose ring, large, those really large ear piercings. I'm not like loops. I'm not sure what they're called, where they like make your earlobe like fucking massive.
Stretcher.
Yeah, like a large like golden stretcher. A piercing through his lip. Like I said, one through his nostril as well, and just like 2 just there, sort of on his eyes, not like across his cheeks and down everywhere like before. But they are clearly golden or silver, and they've each got like a studded gem or something in them. Fairly well-off guy. As they appear, as he appears, he's only like sort of bust the shoulders and he's like, who is it? Oh, it's you, and oh, you brought my golem. Fantastic.
Oreson.
Oreson. Yes, Oreson. Yes, fine. Whatever you named rock. Whatever. Yes, I'll have them. I'll have some golems bring you up. Post haste. Tea for anyone? Should I gather tea? I'm not sure what you
Yes,
haven't had visitors in a
please.
while. Tea?
Tea,
Yes,
please.
absolutely.
You're
All right. All right. I'll get it ready. Open the doors. Suddenly, these things look forwards again. Their eyes sort of like blink, and suddenly the astral projection stops. And from inside, there is a clanging noise, like chains moving and stone grinding. Doors slide slowly open, and sort of lowering itself is this large lift, it seems. This lift is like a large stone slab, and on four corners, well, I say corners, it's a circular thing, but sort of, 4 equal places where corners would be if you were looking at it, there are these 4 huge chains held together by golems. It seems there was probably once a mechanical contraption to hold these things together, but now golems have been essentially attached to the lift itself, and then they have these huge arms that physically pull the chains up or down to let people up or down. You can all stand on the lift if you would all enter, and the stone doors slowly shut once more, and they each begin pulling, and you begin to rise. As you rise through this quite claustrophobic space where stone is sort of like all around you, and once again, this place is so old, it looks like there is, golden decoration and, silver outlinings of patterns, and very much like cloud-like patterns as well, very swirly, almost, you think it's evocative of like a mix between almost like elven kind of thing, but this almost Norse-esque giant look with it as well. There's quite nice, a lot of like braiding around the area and things like that as you slowly begin to ascend, the loud clanging filling your eardrums. Eventually, the area opens up into a very, very large hollow space. It looks like the mountain is almost like, from as far as you are up. You didn't get to the very top of the mountain. You only got like maybe 3/4 of the way, and it looks from here, but the mountain is almost like hollow inside from here. And built into the mountain around this hollow area are pathways and homes and homesteads and windows and doors and all this stuff that are sadly completely barren. Dust gathers in corners and cobwebs in corners as well. Doors falling off their hinges. It's all carved out of the stoneway, and the only things that are here, but still motionless, sadly, are golems watching the area. Not many of them, but just a couple dotted around that you might recognize and see. Made, again, out of, shamblings of stone and statues and things like that. This place looks like it could easily fit, maybe 100 or so giants. Some Goliaths in here too, some smaller homesteads and things like that. It's a very well-made, very, fantastic architectural thing. And as you're just going up through the middle of this, the sheer size and expanse of it is a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot of dust in here, maybe fills up your lungs, makes you cough a little bit, but eventually you re-enter this claustrophobic space, stone all around you, as you push up, then through the ceiling of this open hollow space, into a large room. Stone giants in this room call it to a halt. And there are 2 doors, one in front of you and one behind you. The one in front of you immediately shudders open. This has been about maybe 10 minutes now going up this thing. As it opens, you see a stone giant. Not stone giant, cloud giant. Potentially Ciro himself, wearing this simple robe that has a bit of a shine to it, almost like it's almost meant to be like silver coloured, maybe with like a silverish thread, gold sort of trim around, simple sort of like leather jerkin over the middle. The sleeves are rolled up. There's a lot of grime and muck and things where he's clearly like got his hands dirty and sort of scuffed it over this what was probably once a very pristine, very honourable thing to wear, but now is what looks like a work shirt essentially, as the top buttons undone, scuffed his sleeves up and things like that. And he's got this very large tray. Opens up the door and says, "Oh, finally! Please, come into my workshop. We have much to discuss, and I would rather like to see the results, as it were. But please, you've had a long journey. Come. There's a place for you to sit in here." Takes the tea in, places it down on a table, and then realizes the table is actually pretty tall because it's a table for giants. So, rather sadly, he just places it down on the ground, and each of you can grab a mug of tea. These mugs.
Does he take any?
He does not take any tea from your tray. He does grab his own mug. His mug is fucking huge. It is a giant's mug of tea. Your mugs are also fucking huge. They're not a giant mug of tea, but I'm wondering if I have like a bowl in here to compare the size to. It is literally like, imagine this, but like out to here kind of thing, and a massive handle on the side of it, and you basically have to hold it with two hands because it's also filled up with liquid, and that's just awful. And it's burning hot as well. Like the true Kathmandu you are.
Is there any cream?
It is very, very nice tea. It is herbal tea, like a sort of berry-like tea. He explains it's winterberry tea. He calls it winterberry. He doesn't really know what the berry is, but it's what his Goliaths can gather from nearby crevices and things like that all the way up here. And he's grown quite fond of it, even if it's the only thing. Nice.
Does it smell funny or strong?
Make a investigation check. Medicine check.
Oh, thank you. Ooh. Oh, that's much better.
Smells very nice. You've heard lots of tea, obviously, coming from a slightly Asian-inspired place. You probably have drunk a lot of it in your time. And it smells very, very sweet, very, very nice. Nothing particularly abnormal about it. Reminds you of some of the different teas you had when you were younger. A little more simpler. It's only sort of one kind, and clearly the berry to water ratio is a little bit off, so there's not a whole lot of berries in everyone's mug. So really, it's just a lot of hot water with some herbal stuff and a couple of berries. So it's it's got that sweet tang, but only that dissipates after a few moments, and after a while you can't even taste it. But it's nice. It's not. You don't think it's dangerous at all.
I don't think it's.
That's good, because I've already burnt my tongue drinking a lot of it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is obviously also burning hot. As he's just sort of like pulled it off this large sort of stove.
I was just like with his nostrils flaring, just trying to get it to boil more.
This room clearly was not a workshop. This room was clearly some kind of large display room or throne room or something, you don't know, but it's been retrofitted in a long time to be a workshop. There is too many decorative elements, and there's like a chandelier hanging from above, and the stonework on the flooring is way too nice for this ever to have been used as just some cloud giant's workshop. But it does seem that here is where he's making a lot of these golems. There is another door that leads out the back into a large sort of courtyard area, The room itself, like I said, is large. There's a big chandelier on the ceiling. A lot of these, again, these sort of golden trimmed braided things, but there's tables and storage cabinets and big boxes of just rocks and parts and pieces.
That courtyard, does that lead outside to like somewhere on the upper slopes, or is that a courtyard that's still internal and covered by the top of the mountain?
So it leads out, so if you now so as you're sort of looking out, you think, okay, well, we must now be on the very top of the mountain. This castle must be set on the very top of the mountain, and this courtyard must lead out to an area that's, giant built or whatever, to look out upon the expanse. You don't know the makings of this castle or palace or whatever the hell you would call this place. You obviously don't know your way around it all, but you can imagine that probably leads somewhere and things like that. But this is a very, very large place. Obviously, you're in a giant's castle. You guys feel fucking tiny right now. Imagine, for an average giant, a 6 foot tall average person goes up to about their knee. So you guys are looking around and thinking, well, shit, yeah, even just like the chairs, like that is the height of me. But luckily there are a few things left about from here and there from when Goliaths, apparently there's Cloud Goliaths, but okay, Cloud Goliaths would, or just Goliaths would come here and visit here, and he does manage to pull out a few tables and chairs and stools, which for Balzanor, being fucking 7 foot tall, are perfect fit. Oh, lovely, good place to rest your feet.
That's it. I'm
Everyone else,
happy.
a little bit tall. You do have
He's
to
not too hot.
leap up onto
Comfy
the
chair.
seat a little bit to sit down. Oreson does try and sit on one, and he snaps it in two. Sadly.
Oh.
As he just sits, and the weight of this thing, like just this golem of stone, just like... Are we done? Giri! It wasn't a magic chair!
Yeah?
I
Not
thought-
everything's magic, Oreson.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you told me that. Okay. Gets back up. And once again, he starts playing one of his favourite games, Is This Magic? And he just lists off to you everything in this room, everything that he can. So, if that's not magic, is that magic? Is that magic? Is that magic? Starts pointing at one of Balzanor's horns. Both of them individually. Are they magic? Is that table magic? Is that chair magic so I can sit on it now?
Hang on. Hang on a second.
Are your horns magic?
I mean, woo!
Yes.
Was I just
I've got
turned
a-
on the one?
It turns one.
I've got a deck of cards,
Yeah.
and I'm going to give them to Orson, and I'm going to say this is the most powerful magic there is.
Roll deception with advantage.
Okay.
He's got the mind of a little child.
I have the deception skills of a little child.
Advantage 10. He doesn't know none the wiser, but he's thinking like, well, surely these can't have loads of magic in them, but magic cards. But obviously he's trying to hold them in his little fingers, and he's just looking at them.
Can you find the most? Which one do you think is the most magical?
This one's got a king on it. No, not that one. And he does eventually find the Joker card, and he goes, that one. He looks funny.
I'm gonna
Funny
cast
people.
Minor illusion and make the Joker and the card dance.
Drops it. Oh my god. Picks it up and literally holds it as close to his chest as he possibly can.
So pure and
Keep-
loving.
Giri, can I keep this one?
You can keep it for the moment, yeah. But I want it back when we play Canasta later.
Okay. Orson just walks off into the corner and starts looking at the Joker that's dancing. This very, very simple little thing, but he's enthralled. Zero
Hello, sir.
eventually comes in. Eventually, he sort of comes in, sits down in a large chair. So, you've all had quite the journey to get here. why is the golem looking at a card? Whatever. So, let me to properly introduce myself. I am Zero, the prince of this castle here. You are, if I remember
Insight
correctly,
check on that.
Insight check on that. Go for it.
If you're a
Riggedy roll
that
me an
means
insight.
there's a king or queen.
17. He seems confident when he says it, and he does seem to almost have this thing of being tired of saying it, but he feels like he should announce it, that almost denotes to you that, like, oh, this is probably a guy who said this quite a lot, but he doesn't like saying it. Now, you wouldn't lie about being a prince if you didn't like being a prince, you know? So you're probably thinking, okay, well, he's probably on the verge of something truthful there. And you are Giri Kubo. Balzanor.
We're the Deliverance.
The Deliverance.
Yes.
Well, I guess it's an apt name. You did deliver the golem to me, huh?
No,
do you
no,
deliver to,
no. Don't
do you deliver to
understand us
many
like
people?
that. Yes, we delivered victory to the people of Ambyr.
Oh, yes, I did hear about that. If I'm honest, I watched you. Not the
It's a bit creepy, mate.
Maximilian over there. You were the dwarf. You were taking on some kind of orcish camp. One of my golems was not too far. You could see everything that was going on. Very impressive, I must say. Yes, very, very impressive indeed. Then I had news fluttering that, yes, the orcs are moving further north. Very nicely done. They'd done a number on many of my contraptions and golems and works. So, yes, I must thank you for that. Pardon, sorry?
You still have a problem with them?
Not really of late. I have had quite a sharp decline. It seems, from what I can gather, they made quite a harsh retreat. Most of them expected your army to push them back into the north. That's what they were hoping for. They had many of their own people hiding in the woodlands and forests to ambush you, but no, it seems you did push them back, and seems they're taking some time to, I don't know, sounds childish to say it, but think about what they've done, I suppose, and plan ahead. I've heard of this.
Go north and think about what they've done.
I've heard many of them support some new god, Nevado, something. Why these people will never win. You can't just boot out a god when it doesn't win you anything. But there we are, you people and your gods, I suppose.
So, if you're a prince, does that mean there's a king?
There was once, yes. Back many years ago, before the war with the dragons, before that drastic everything that went on, these halls were filled with many people and conversation and music and laughter and ideas, invention, jewels and gold, more than one giant could carry in both hands. Yes, it was a glorious time. Sadly, that dragon war came along, and, well, giants were put in a bit of an awkward situation. We weren't exactly sure who was winning, and when it started to look like humans were winning, we didn't want to get on the dragon's bad side. My people, most of them anyway, left here, abandoned this place. We were told when they found a suitable home, a suitable homestead, they would come back, they would tell us, and we would go there. I've heard nothing. So I have to assume I'm the last of the cloud giants.
Was it only you that stayed?
No, there were others, but sadly through time, well, time is the real murderer of us all, isn't it? I am the last. 878. 878 next year. My age, all the years seem to just meld together, I suppose, but there we are. I do what I can.
Pardon, sorry?
That old for a giant, or?
Yeah, it's pretty old for a giant. Giants generally live, are sort of like 80, where you're really starting to get on a little bit, is like 700 for them.
Okay. Oh, so he's well into like 80s, 90s, early 90s.
Yeah. But he's clearly still carrying on, so it does sort of seem that, they don't seem to lose, as humans do, a lot of like mental function. Is more just they're getting old and aging and physically thing. And you can tell by this guy's a little bit more, compared to the stone giants who are huge and brutish. This guy is, a lot more skinny, a lot more of, like the kind of guy you'd find, who would sit and do a lot of this tinkering work and things like that, rather than your active giant, as it were. Especially Giri, obviously knowing some things about cloud giants, you know them to be quite a noble race. They're said to be like the handsomest of all the giants and the most beautiful of all the giants, and everything. So this guy is, let's just say, he's not putting a good face to the name of cloud giants right now in his sort of attire.
Yeah, but if there was a king and you're a prince, doesn't that make you king?
True, but what would I be king of? A few empty halls, and, well, all of this. And no, sadly, I have not gone through the ordering process to become king. It's not quite how we work here. I still need to undertake trials and several different intellectual and physical tests before I can become king. Otherwise, the best way to put it would be like excommunicated. I'm forced to be an outsider with my people, and another is chosen. But
Yeah, but if
Hey.
it's you, then can you make the trial, pass the trial?
I could, but I also don't really. Like I said, I wouldn't really be king of much, and that just sounds rather sad to me. If you all came in here and I said, I'm the king of this castle, you'd just be thinking, well, yes, but you're also king of no one. Nothing.
Good point.
Or if you animated objects that I gather around to see things for me, I suppose. Anyway, speaking of animated objects, why don't we get this business over with and dealt with? Awesome.
Awesome. Perks up.
Yeah. Why don't you come with me? I'll collect the relevant memories and things he's found and seen, and should take about an hour. Plenty of time for you to look through the archives and things like that, and maybe find a thing or two that you can, make use out of. Unfortunately, most of the cloud giants took everything. Well, they took most of the things there, but I'm sure there's probably some small things you can find to keep yourselves busy with.
Zero,
Yes.
have you been following whatever it was that was at the crystals, or do you not know about that?
Whatever it was that was at the crystals, I'm not entirely sure what you mean. None of my other golems have really spotted much. I asked one to go there, but sadly I think something got to it. I think it was orcs. Last thing that seemed to show up was a load of javelins and spears coming in his face, so I can assume so. But no, after everything that's happened, I've kept them clear. Running somewhat low on resources at the moment. I'll need to send some of my golems out to find some for me. You were saying, sorry.
In that case, do you know where the tomb of Frazath Gore is? Or the meeting, their old meeting ground?
Frazath Gore. That's a dragon name, is it not?
Yes.
I remember him. Yes. Big red one. Strong jaw, always prattling on about that Aphamat or Tiamin, whatever the... Tiamat. Oh yeah, whatever that was. Him and the other one. Well, there was a few of them really. They were a small cult amongst their society. Mostly cast outs. Dragons weren't much fan of old gods and things, you see. They thought themselves gods, if they're honest. So they didn't really... I guess they didn't feel the need for them. I don't know. But I'm sure I have. I personally don't know the location of such a tomb or a hoard or meeting point, but I think I might have a thing or two in the archive.
Immediately once you say this, Davyak is off. He hasn't said a word, but he is like off. He's like, what? Where's the archive again? Oh, just through that other door, just over there. He is fucking gone. He's immediately just like pacing it over to this place.
Gotta be honest, apart from when he's doing something in combat, I kind of forget he's here. Very much keeping to himself.
Orson's also just like, yeah, I do too. He looks funny. He's got the big hand on his face.
Oh, you can't talk about that.
Why not?
I'm joking. Take the piss all you want. It's hilarious.
Looks like he could use a hand.
Oh, Orson, you lad.
Yes, so Ciro stands up. Orson sort of stands next to him like, oh, you're big. You look a lot bigger from this close. Although I guess I was only a few meters away over there, but now you look a lot bigger. Okay.
Oh, nothing. Nothing really. I'm going to pilfer through his memories, take away any memories that... I essentially, through his eyes, I am able to record certain events. That's how I'm able to see things from afar. I obviously can't see every golem's thing at once, so I spend a lot of my time looking through them individually, seeing if they see anything interesting. I'm merely going to take everything as seen up until now, and everything is seen since our conversation. And you'll be left with, well, Orson. He does not seem to remember his life before he became awoken. So, I'll take those memories too, I suppose. And you'll be left with...
When you say take, do you mean copy or remove?
Remove. Should anyone have the abilities
You have
like
the
I
ability
do, I
to-
don't really fun.
Do you have the ability to add the memories back? So if you cannot remember them, can you help jog his memory?
Well, I will have
can
them.
see what his
Yes,
life was
I will have them here. I store them in these little
vials you see, and he pulls out this vial of very silvery, glowing liquid, and it's the same sort of colour, this sort of like silvery bluish colour, that's in some of the roots and things that hold all of Orson's rocks together. And the same colour that sort of glows within his eyes and within the rune on his back. And it's this liquid, and it's a very, very thick liquid. Even when he like shakes it, it doesn't move. But when he turns it on its side, it slowly sort of sludges its way. But yes, essentially, yeah, he explains that, yeah, he'll take everything that Orson has ever seen, take that away, but then put back, just to look at for now. He was going to start with the stuff since seeing the crystals to now. And then he'll put back the stuff.
So he's going to take it out so he can look at it, and then he's going to put it back.
And then he's going to put everything from the last couple of days since he's been awoken back. So he'll remember all of you, he'll remember everything, everything he's learned since...
Reasonable.
He's everything he's learned since he's, become awoken. He explains, he's clearly got a bit of a attachment to you guys, and he doesn't want to. He's not a horrible person. He doesn't want to take that away from you. So yeah, they go off to do that for an hour. He sort of steps into a smaller, separate room inside this large chamber to do that. He tells you all to enjoy your tea and go into the archive and see if there's anything you guys would like to find, or like to look at in there. Like he says, it's a little bit bare bones. It's essentially just this large room with columns and rows and rows of items and books and things like that. Some books like giant size, some books like halfway like a person would have to hold them like this to read, but they could. Some of them are regular, like people sized. There are lots of different items that very clearly aren't magical. They're just jewelry and gold necklaces and big rings for giants, and very, very fancy stuff that people probably
Such a shame
obviously once had. It really is, isn't it?
Field day.
But there are also a few items that maybe you guys can find for yourselves. Before we finish up today, is there anything anyone would be specifically looking for in a large compendium of stuff such as this? As a somewhat reward for a job.
How big are Goliath?
Expensive stuff.
Goliaths are, usually between about 6 and 7 foot tall.
Okay. Can I look for some armor that Goliath might wear, but a shorter Goliath?
Yeah, of course. Roll a quick investigation.
Oh, well, I'm 5'11", so 6 foot would be okay. I do not have good investigation.
No one does. That's the
Mittens, do
Nobody
you fancy inspiring me with some song?
Can I do that while also looking for stuff myself? Would that
You have all the time in the world.
I mean, if you wanted to flavor it as you just sort of singing a song as you're trying to find stuff yourself that's helping everyone else focus a little bit, I'd allow it. But yeah, I mean, you have that to use for people, and it lasts a certain while. So
last 10 minutes?
yeah, so I guess you could do that, and then I'll have
Let's
people to wander off for 10 minutes.
all three of my bardic inspirations. You all add a d10 to one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw.
There we go.
While
So
Mittens
Oh,
sings
this
his
would be a good
way
D10.
around the archive, winding everyone the fuck up. Oh, yours
11?
is
11.
10 plus 1. It's a d10 plus 1.
It's like
12?
So you can see a decent few sets of armor that Goliaths might wear, but a lot of it is like very nice sets of leather armor and very nice sets of certain stuff like that, and sets that are very clearly more for dress, like official dress kind of thing, that would actually offer a lot of decent protection. So sadly, no, you can't really see anything better than what you already have equipped with an 11. Let's go to Nevado. Is there anything you would like to be looking for, particularly looking around this place?
Not anything in particular. Maybe magic stuff, but no.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. I mean, if you're just just having a look for magic stuff. Yeah, roll an investigation.
Oh,
18, right, not bad. Yeah, so you can find a couple of things that look pretty interesting. So the first is, it seems to be some kind of like headpiece, like not a tiara. What's it called? Just like a circlet. It's like a little circlet that almost had these like braids. Like silver, so like braids, almost like welded together kind of thing. Very, very thin, that would go sort of around your head, rest just above your ears, on your temples. And the description of this quite literally translates to bracelet of some knowing or some thinking. And And it does explain what it does, thankfully, on this little plaque next to it.
Okay.
So while wearing this bracelet for more than 1 hour, the wearer can choose intelligence or wisdom. Their intelligence score or wisdom score goes up by 2, but the other goes down by 2. So you could increase your intelligence essentially to, you'd essentially have a +1 intelligence, and then -1 wisdom, or vice versa. So if you wanted to max out your wisdom, you can do. This does allow the new maximum to be 22 for both of those scores.
Such a weird item conceptually when you think about it outside the bounds of intelligence and wisdom scores.
Yeah, it's more about sort of like your sort of like brain power is focused into more thinking, and your mind is going like 1,000,000 miles per hour, which doesn't leave a lot of room for things like common sense and things like that. Or it hones in on slowing your mind down a little bit and allowing you to be a little more rational, a little more thoughtful. For you, Nevado, probably allow you to attune just with your nature a little bit more, and when you're spellcasting, allow you to just be that little bit more careful, a little bit more powerful, rather than. But this slowing down means this information wouldn't come to you as quickly for something like intelligence. Yeah. Or, as you're walking around, funnily enough, you do find a crystal ball.
Decisions.
Or there is also this rather fancy earring. And it's called the Earring of the Cloud Giant. And from what you surmise, essentially, it increases your passive perception score by 2.
Interesting.
Sarah's kind of just said you can take a thing.
Yeah, basically. Have a look through the archives, take something as a job well done. I'm not going to pick something out for you. Go ahead. Balzanor, let's go to you. Is there anything you would like to particularly look for?
Could I look? Can I look for a better two-handed weapon? So I have a great club, but maybe like a magical staff. I don't know.
Yeah, of course. Roll
something else along those lines.
Yeah, roll an investigation. I believe you can add a D10 to this because of thingy's bardic inspiration. D10 plus 1. So see how you do.
Add that to 9. And Naz.
Add what to 9?
So you said plus the 10.
That's a D10.
Plus a D10.
Plus a D10. Sorry, I did not hear what you said. I missed the D.
I see.
You missed the
My man, just grinder. What for the charm? All right, so that's actually an 18. That's again pretty good. Yeah. So you're looking around, and yeah, you can see a few fancy things. Obviously, giants being giants, they are in communication with one another. And yes, you do in fact find a club, a rather sort of fancy club, a little more tribal, a little bit like Chief Qatar's, where it's in that sort of very tribal thing of, it looks like a blade, but it's made from wood, and it's got like a sort of curve on it at one end. It's got like a totem of some kind of like animal on the other end. A very, very long handle for you to like swing and move about. But despite its size and despite the small sort of wooden textured bits on it, essentially like just sticking out so that it would deal a bit more damage. Despite all that, it is still quite light, quite maneuverable. You think you're spinning it around in your hands. Yeah, this is definitely very, very nice. Looking at what it does, this is a Club of the Stone Goliath. So this club is a D10 rather than a D8 in terms of damage, and it deals double damage, so it's essentially rolls double dice against critical against objects, inanimate objects, or constructs.
Okay.
So if you wanted to hit,
So double
Oreson,
damage against
yeah, it is also a +1 weapon, so yeah, +1 to hit with it, and +1 damage.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty decent. And we'll go to Sir Mittens. Maximilian, I always forget his actual name's Maximilian. What are you looking for?
Probably along the same lines as Balzanor.
A decent weapon.
Decent weapon, yeah.
Roll investigation. You still have your final inspiration if you want to inspire yourself,
Well, I gave them all out.
I guess.
Because I gave one to
Yes,
and I
you
can't
did.
give it to myself.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, just roll an investigation.
Could have been less.
17!
Could have been
I
less.
was hoping you would get 17. So, you're walking around, and you see this very weird looking sort of glass cabinet, almost. It's like perfectly rectangular. And inside is something floating through midair. It's like this very thick, viscous fluid. It's like dark red, almost like very dark blood. And it looks like it's sort of like spinning in 0G. Twisting around. And you swear you must read it wrong, because on the plaque it says Bloodblade. This blade can form into whatever the fuck you like, as long as it is a melee weapon.
Damn.
It is made of the blood of an ancient being that had killed with so many weapons and so many blades that his blood forged into iron. When you kill a creature, when you reduce a creature to 0 hit points with this weapon, well, so first off, it's a +2 weapon. Like I said, it can turn into any bladed weapon. Sorry, I meant to say that. Any bladed weapon. And when you kill a creature with this weapon, you can choose to grant a creature within 30 feet of you a number of hit points equal to 1d6 plus your constitution modifier. However, this weapon comes at a slight cost of some of your own blood. From what it seems to read, you have to minus, essentially, roll 1d6, and then roll the hit dice, minus that from your total HP, except for your constitution. So whatever your hit dice is, say it's a D8 for bards, I think.
Yeah.
Roll that, take that away from your max HP to attune to the blade.
And this is the blade of, like, someone that murdered so many people.
It is a blade of an ancient being that killed so many things that death became part of it. And from its blood, after it died, was formed a weapon of its, just formed a weapon. No one knows how, no one knows why. But cloud giants, when they were traversing the several planes that they've ever traversed, they found this strange viscous liquid. Sadly, it could not make it couldn't be large enough for a giant to use, and Goliaths always found it a little bit too creepy to use. No giant wanted to essentially give some of their life force to be able to have a blade, and a lot of Goliaths preferred using like bludgeoning weapons and things anyways. Says that if you'd like to take it, or if anyone would like to take it, there's no reason any of you have to have these items for yourselves. You can swap them around, you can gift them to each other, or whatever the fuck you like.
Pass on the creepy fucking blade. It's not Mittens' bag. This seems real dark and no thank you.
Is the meeting wanting the creepy fucking blade?
Would you tell the others about the blade?
Yeah,
Because there is obviously one other of you that quite likes.
I found this terrifying sword, guys. It's made of the blood of something. Apparently it can change shape, but I'm not touching it.
You good?
Also, apparently the other card said it gives life when you kill something.
Ooh.
Do you not get that
D6.
extra rush anyway? No, just me? Cool.
I think it might be an actual magical thing, Giri, rather than
Oh, right.
your psychotic bloodlust.
Fair enough.
Can I make a decision until next week?
Is that a good point to end?
Yeah, I think that's probably a
can I
good
make a
point
decision to
end.
take that over during the week?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of
Or the
course you can.
Bloodblade?
Obviously, the Bloodblade.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I'm
remembering
debating.
that you can only do simple weapons, but still, that could be kind of useful for you.
But I can turn it into
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could turn into any simple weapon, but there are plenty of simple weapons to choose from, and it's magical and everything, so that could be pretty cool. But yes, we will finish off the session there with Davyak suddenly rushing down the hall saying, "I found it. On this map, location of all the dragon hordes, where dragons used to live. And right there, Frazath fucking Gore. Let's go, boys."
Matt, you could have a club, a dagger,
Plus,
or a great
Giri.
club, a hand axe, a javelin, a light hammer, a mace, a quarterstaff, a sickle, or a spear. Well, that had to be bladed, so it actually moved it.
An axe.
You've got a week to decide.
I'll
Yeah.
we'll talk about it later.
Yes, we'll finish the session there.
Yeah.
We'll finish the session there. We've gone a little bit over. Thank you all very, very much for joining me this week. Good little bit of combat to start off and finish off that fight, and then just a lot of travel and things from there. And we will continue this madness next week as... I don't know, I guess you guys do whatever you want to do. You, like Davyak said, he found a map of where to find Frazath Gore.
X marks the spot.
Indeed.
Do we follow the undead man with wings into this fight?
Always.